A knife can come off the stone feeling sharp, slice once, and then seem duller than when you started. The reason is usually a thin piece of damaged steel at the edge, and it can fool a paper test or a hair test before it folds over or breaks away. Then, food tears, cord snags, and a hand can get cut while you keep pressing harder or test the edge carelessly. The answer is not another gadget or more force. It is making both sides meet, then removing what the stone leaves behind. After a lifetime carrying a small set of camp tools, I know a shiny edge is not a working edge. Let's look at what actually fails first. A sharp knife is two bevels meeting at a fine line. That line is the apex. When you grind one side, the stone often pushes a thin lip of steel over the far side. That is the burr, or wire edge, and it fools people. It will catch paper, it may shave hair, it can feel sharp straight off the stone, but that little lip is damaged, bent over steel, weaker than the steel behind it. Put the knife to work on cord, food, or a bit of lightwood, and it folds over or breaks away. Then you are left wondering why a knife you just sharpened is suddenly worse. If that burr stays on a food knife, tiny bits can come away in the food. On a woodworking edge, they can end up in the work and foul another tool. Small thing, still not what you want. Before you pick another stone or lean harder into the one you have, clean the blade and hold the edge under a bright light. A sharp edge shows as a dark line. A bright reflection along it is a flat or damaged spot that has not been brought back to the apex. That is the rule. Sharp for one cut, dull right after. Look at apexing and deburring first. A shiny bevel is one of the most convincing, useless results in camp gear. And before we deal with the burr, we need to deal with the mistake that often prevents one from forming properly at all. A drifting angle can round the edge or polish below it, while the actual cutting line stays dull. A drifting wrist rounds the cutting line instead of bringing two bevels together. Too shallow, and you polish the shoulder below the apex. Too steep, and you make a durable wedge that feels dull. Hold one angle, roughly 17 to 20 degrees per side for a general camp knife. Harder, high-carbon steel may take about 15. Softer stainless often benefits from about 20. Steel, heat treatment, blade thickness, and use still matter. With a freehand stone, color the bevel with marker and make one light pass. Ink disappearing below the edge means you are polishing the shoulder, not sharpening the apex. Heavy pressure and speed wobble the angle and can gouge a soft stone. Coarse grit leaves a toothy edge, useful for meat and cord, but rougher for fine slicing. Large jumps between grits make the finer stone work poorly. A strop cannot create an apex the stone missed. Press hard and leather wraps around the edge, rounding it. Use very light pressure and follow the stone's scratch direction. A fast, forceful grinder can overheat and soften the apex, so it rolls quickly and may make you press harder during a cut. Grind slowly, use wet cooling where applicable, and finish by hand. Dipping helps, but heat spikes can happen in milliseconds. I camp so rarely that this hardly seems worth learning. If you use a knife for food, cord, or wood, angle control and burr detection still improve control. More gear cannot replace making both sides meet. Before the first stroke, support the stone firmly and move the knife away from your body. A mid-air stone or inward stroke can send the blade into your hands, so set the stone down where it cannot move, keep the edge path pointing away from your body, and keep the hand supporting the blade behind the edge. Do not hold the stone in one hand and sharpen in mid-air. That is how a small slip becomes a cut instead of a harmless wobble. Choose one angle and keep it. Around 17 to 20 degrees per side is a sensible starting range for a general camp knife, but the best angle depends on the steel, its heat treatment, blade thickness, and the work you ask it to do. A guided sharpener fixes that angle for you. Freehand, lock your wrist and use slow strokes from heel toward tip. Keep the blade at the same angle through the stroke. Lift the handle slightly as you reach the curved tip so the edge stays on the stone. Work one side until you raise a modest burr along the full edge, heel to tip. Do not switch sides because you have made the same number of passes. No burr near the tip means that part has not reached the apex. Before checking it, remember that sliding a finger along a sharpened edge can open the skin easily. Use minimal pressure. Feel with the thumb pad perpendicular to the edge, or drag the fingertip from the spine down toward the edge, never sideways. Cold, numb fingers make this less reliable, so use bright light and take your time. Flip the knife and match that angle until the burr moves across the full edge. Then stop growing it. A formed apex still fails if the wire edge remains, so next comes deburring, grit progression, and correctly directed stropping. That burr is the lie at the edge. It is thin, damaged steel, and it can slice paper right off the stone before it folds over on rope, food, cardboard, or a bit of woodwork. So stop using heavy passes. Alternate one light stroke per side, then lighter still, until you are reducing the burr instead of bending it back and forth. If you have more than one stone, move up in roughly doubled or tripled grit steps. A medium finish leaves a toothy edge that works well on meat and cord. Go finer when the knife's job is smooth food slicing or clean carving. And do not expect the strop to rescue a dull knife. A strop refines an apex you already made. Use it edge trailing with barely any pressure. If you went heel to tip on the stone, strop tip to heel so you follow the scratch pattern. Press hard into leather and the leather wraps around that fine edge and rounds it. Chasing razor language on a camp knife is a fine way to blunt it and call it refinement. Before testing, keep the paper cut path clear of the hand holding the paper. A sharp blade can pass through unsupported paper into your fingers once resistance disappears. Hold one clean sheet so the blade exits into open space, then stop the stroke. Look for a clean slice, not tearing or snagging. Paper and bright light beat thumb feel, hair, and fingernail tricks in camp. And if all you own is one cheap medium stone, this still applies. Make the edge, reduce the burr, accept the working finish. The harder question is, what happens when that one stone meets cold hands and damage it cannot realistically repair? Cold hands lose burr and angle feedback. Poor light worsens it. Warm them first. Secure the abrasive, stroke away from you, and favor bright light and supported paper over touch. On one medium diamond plate or stone, hold 17 to 20 degrees per side. Raise a modest burr on one side, match it, then make light alternating passes. That leaves a toothy working edge for food, cord, and light wood. Near freezing, leave soaking water stones home. Water can freeze on the stone and hands. Choose a diamond plate or ceramic rod. A guided sharpener helps with cold hands, though fixed slots, often around 20 degrees per side, limit specialized angles. Know when to quit. Large chips, broken tips, a heavy roll, structural damage, or rapid dulling after powered grinding belong at home. They need grit 300 or below and material removal. A medium field stone handles poorly. A campsite is no place to prove a pocket stone can do a bench grinder's work. In cabins or campgrounds, compact plates, rods, and guides work on a stable surface. They work on a partly serrated knife's plane section. Fully serrated edges need their own method. Before a trip, inspect the edge in bright light. Pack a small strop or fine hone. Give a sound edge about 10 light, edge trailing passes per side, so full sharpening stays occasional. If the next bit of outdoor gear you trust because it is cheap, compact, and has a clever label is headed for your pack, watch testing. Cheap outdoor Temu camping gear, so you don't have to. I will put it through ordinary camp use and show what earns its space. Keep the strop light. Leave the heroic repairs at home.